Lesson 2.1, percent of a number. Finding the percent of a number. To find the percent of a number, such as 60% of 2,000, you can use either of the following methods. Write the percent as a fraction and then multiply, or we can write the percent as a decimal and then multiply. So you need to pick which way works best for you. Do you like fractions? Do you like decimals? So if we go down to example A, it says directions say find the percent of each number. So example A is 40% of 70. So I want to know, what is 40% of 70? So if I had 70 pieces of candy and I gave 40% away, how many pieces did I give away? So to find this, again, we can do it one of two ways. We can change our percent to a decimal or change our percent to a fraction and then multiply. So I'll show you both methods. So first, let's change our percent to a decimal. To make a percent a decimal, you move the decimal point 2 spots to the left. So I would have 4/10, then of means to multiply, and then 70. So 4/10 times 70 is 28. Okay? Again, we could change 40% to a fraction. And 40% as a fraction simplified is 2/5. So I could take 2/5 times 70 over 1. And again, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. I'm going to cross simplify. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 70 14 times. And then I multiply 2 times 14 is 28. 1 times 1 is 1. So 28 over 1 equals 28. So again, it doesn't matter which way you do this. You could do decimals or fractions. You're going to get the same thing. Example B, I have 15% of 100. So again, I'm going to change my 15% to a decimal because I don't really know that fraction off the top of my head. So 15% as a decimal is 15/100. Of means to multiply, 100. So again, I take 15/100 times 100, and I get 15. So my answer would be 15. Same thing for example C. I have 55% of 160. Again, I don't know 55% of simplified fraction off the top of my head, so I'm going to change it to a decimal. So we'd have 55/100 times 160, and when I multiply those, I get 88. Right? Example D, we have 75% of 280. I know 75% is 3/4 as a simplified fraction. So I could take 3/4 times 280 over 1. And again, I like to cross simplify. I know 4 can go into 4 one time, and 4 can go into 280 70 times. Then I multiply. 3 times 70 is 210. 1 times 1 is 1. Simplified down would be 210. So again, when you're finding the percent of a number, we are figuring out how much of that number do we want. Okay? If we flip over to the next page, we're going to find a percent greater than 100. So percents that are greater than 100% can be written as an improper fraction, mixed numbers, or decimals greater than 1. Okay? I prefer to write them all as decimals. Again, you can do fractions, you can do improper fractions. It's up to you, whatever you prefer. So if I go down to example E, I have 150% of 20. So again, I need to change my percent to a decimal. My decimal point is at the end. Again, you only move it over 2 spots. So this is 1 and 5/10 times 20. It's not 15/100, it's 1 and 5/10. You only move it twice. Then when I take 1 and 5/10 times 20, I get 30. And again, my answer should be greater than the number I started with because I want 100% and then more. So I want all of it and some more. Example F, I have 160% of 35. So again, I need to change my percent to a decimal. So I move my decimal point back twice. I have 1 and 6/10 of means to multiply times 35. Again, when I multiply these, I want all of that 35, plus I want more because I have over 100%. So I take 1 and 6/10 times 35, I get 56. So again, you want to use your number sense on these. Is my percent greater than 100, less than 100? How should my answer come out? And the last thing, if we turn over to the back to example G. Mr. Sudamak earned a 4% commission on the sale of a hot tub that cost $3,755. How much did he earn? So I want to know, based on his sale, how much extra money did he make here? So again, I'm going to find 4% of that $3,755. So when I find 4%, I got to move my decimal point back twice. So now I have 4/100 times 3,755. And when I multiply those, I get 150 and 2/10. And again, we're talking about money, so we would say he would make $150.20.